And welcome to this week's edition of the program Business Time. It is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And my name is William Kumwembe. In the program today, we speak with the Secretary to the Treasury, Dr. Betchani Tchereni, on the 2025-2026 national budget and concerns over fiscal slippages. And also in the program, President to commission 10 billion kwacha fertilizer factory. We have these and other stories. Stay tuned. And welcome. We start with the main story in the program with this story. About 3 weeks ago, Minister of Finance Simplex Chichola Banda presented to Parliament the 2025-2026 national budget. Pegged at 8.05 trillion kwacha, the budget is up from about 6 trillion kwacha for the ending 2024-2025 financial year. Again, the financial plan has a deficit of 2.47 trillion kwacha, which would be financed through a 2.32 trillion kwacha domestic borrowing and 145.78 billion kwacha foreign debt. In this interview, I engaged Secretary to the Treasury, Dr. Betchani Tchereni, on assumption anchoring the budget, and as it comes at a time the local economy has remained volatile, with almost all macroeconomic fundamentals also seen in red.
We have a budget that's showing somewhere around 25.5% of the development happening when we look at the quantitative aspect. But there's also the qualitative part of the budget, which I think not many people are looking at. Let's begin to look at the quantitative aspect. So we are saying that when we look at the macros, all right, the macroeconomic fundamentals, that would be your inflation, interest rate, and maybe exchange rate. The fundamental question you should ask is, why are we here? That question has got a textbook answer, but it also has an answer that is about what is happening really on the ground. The textbook answer will tell you that it's because governmental expenditure is burgeoning, but that's textbook because there are equations which people have done and they are able to show that. But really on the ground, textbook or not textbook, you will know that it is a supply aspect. So as much as people are looking at the demand side of things, but the supply side has been neglected for way too long. We have over-depended on subsistence agriculture. We think that rain-fed subsistence agriculture is what is going to solve the problem. No, it won't. And here we have come up with a budget that says we need to do rain-fed agriculture, yes, but also, most importantly, irrigation agriculture. So we have brought in 99 billion into the budget to say, let's fix the food supply issue. Because when we look at our inflation numbers, the question is, what is it that influences inflation in Malawi? You find that food aspect is the highest, to the north of 40% actually. That's the contribution or the share of food in the CPI. So if you deal with food inflation, you are dealing with inflation in Malawi. So then how do we deal with food inflation? Is it by buying maize in Tanzania? Is it by buying maize in Zambia? No. You deal with that food situation by producing a mass. Because subsistence agriculture, as it were, is not even in our own aspirations as Malawians. Our aspirations have indicated that we've got 3 pillars in the Vision 2063. Agriculture commercialization is one of them. And so let's go commercial in terms of agriculture. It costs money to produce maize. It's not for free. It costs money for you to get the fertilizers, the labor, everything. It costs money. So let's invest in that, because the day that we are going to produce a lot of food, in this case, for example, we are thinking that if we get an extra million tons of maize, it means that to the already 2.8 or 2.9 million ton that we're expecting from rain-fed this year, we are going to have just enough for the whole year for Malawi. It means then that you'll be able to stabilize inflation. When you stabilize the inflation, economists will tell you that then you are also able to stabilize and lower nominal interest rates. which then means that the macros are beginning to behave, and that's what you need quite much. Then you're saying, okay, fine, if you are doing that, then what's next should we do? Then the qualitative part enters into the fray. We have the MDCHL, Malawi Development Corporation Holdings Limited. What is this duty? We are saying that we've got the ATMM, all right? So agriculture, tourism, mining, and manufacturing. So the duty of the MDC Holdings Limited is that because it is holding, we should look at this ability of this company to trigger manufacturing in the country.
Limited is set to commission a 10 billion kwacha sub-factory that will produce fertilizer and generate 2 megawatts of electricity from biogas. This marks a significant investment in Malawi's agriculture and energy sectors. President Chief Executive Officer Bryson Nkomawantu said the factory, which has been under construction for 3 years now, is complete and awaiting its commissioning.
We have reached very advanced stages about this project that we are constructing a fertilizer production factory. It's a sub-factory within a factory. We have been building this factory for 3 years now. We should have finished last year in May, but we suffered some delays. But I am pleased to let you know that now we have finished everything, and what is remaining is just now commissioning. And come April of this year, when we resume production, this factory is also going to start, and in May we should start to produce. We have invested slightly over 10 billion kwacha to do this project. It's a high value project. For us as a company to venture into fertilizer production, our motivation was not necessarily to produce the fertilizer, but we have got the intentions to expand our project, our company. And in the process of producing ethanol, we have been sending effluent, what we call vinasse, to evaporation ponds. And the size of those evaporation ponds is not capable, is not adequate to handle the effluent that we will be generating when the company grows. So 3, 4, 5 years ago, specifically 5 years ago, we conceived this project. And 4 years ago, we started the ordering process, and we started building this factory 3 years ago. I will not preempt the pricing now because there will be inputs that we have to put into the process. And when we are starting the production, then we will do the calculations and see how much is gone in and put our markup, and then we determine the pricing. But if I may tell you what we had done in 2024, if we were selling last year, we should have been selling in between 50 and 60,000 kwacha per bag of fertilizer last year. The business was good. The company grew 7.7% in operating profit. It should have been better. It should have been much better. Properly, partly even because of this project. Because as I told you, we wanted to start selling last year, but we lost probably 4.5 billion in revenue because we didn't commission this project. So we had to register a sluggish growth. But going forward, we see that the company is on its trajectory for growth.
Remember, you're watching Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. My name is William Kumwembe. We'll be right back. Come back. This is Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. And my name is William Kumwembe. Moving on with the program. Malawi on Friday launched the Malawi International Arbitration Center, an entity for expediting commercial dispute settlement. The center, which provides alternative commercial dispute resolution mechanisms, is expected to reduce the burden on conventional courts while offering confidential, efficient and cost-effective services to the business community. Chief Justice Brazilian Mzikamanda described the launch of the center as historic and a game changer. Kumwembe Mangazi has the whole story.
In an interview after the launch of the Arbitration Center, Chief Justice Rezin Mzikamanda described MIAC's launch as historic and a game changer.
Like I said, this development is a historic development to Malawi. It means a lot of business sense. Because, like I said, we have so many disputes taking place, especially commercial disputes. And if you have a way of channeling those commercial disputes to a center like the Malawi International Arbitration Center, that is a good thing, because then it will promote business. The advantages are many. We listed them, like efficiency, cost-effective, confidentiality, and also it's something that the business community favors. So this is very significant. And it is of historical significance, because then it will help promote business in our country. Because you have opened a center where disputes can be resolved in an alternative way, with finality and recognized by law, then you are relieving the courts of the backlog. And so it means that you are increasing access to justice by opening different channels. It will benefit the country quite a lot, because you know that the nature of this center is that the transactions should be done quickly, without alluding to technicality, and so that will be faster. In terms of cost, it will be cheaper, because court processes tend to be expensive, and not everybody can afford. Even if you are in business, not everybody can afford. But in terms of arbitration centers, business can afford. And business likes to do things timely. And when you are timely in doing things, they'll go on with their business and more profits will be made.
MIAC Chairperson Patrick Mpaka says the journey towards establishment of the center was demanding, but stakeholder response was encouraging.
Not really. So what happens for a matter to be referred to arbitration is that there must be a clause in the parties' agreement, because arbitration is by agreement of the parties. If you are entering into a contract, usually there is a dispute resolution clause. So if the cases that are in court do not have the arbitration clause, there is no way they will be referred. But I think going forward, that's why the communication is important, that the business community must know that now we have this center, it's operational. It means that when they're entering into contracts, they can say we will go for arbitration, knowing that we have a center right here in Malawi. You heard the Chief Justice indicating that all this time, one of the things that we've been doing was to adopt a code of conduct for arbitrators, and the Chief Justice read it out. For one to be a panelist under the Malawi International Arbitration Center, apart from the qualifications that are required, you also need to sign up to the code of conduct, and actually the center will be able to remove you. So integrity, efficiency, confidentiality are very central to the work of the Malawi International Arbitration Center, and it's a condition precedent to you being part of this initiative as an arbitrator, because if we don't do that, what will be the difference with what will make it then an alternative? Nothing. So that's the basic and central, and because people are coming in as willing parties, it is expected that this standard will be maintained. But there is a code of conduct. There is a code of conduct for all arbitrators. You need to sign that apart from meeting all the other processes.
Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry President Wisely Piri rated the center's launch as a momentous occasion for the private sector.
For us, this is a very good thing. It's a momentous occasion for the private sector. In the private sector, ideally, when two people are there or companies, there will always be some disputes at some point. And ideally, we've been taking some of the issues to the courts. And you and me, we know the courts are overwhelmed. Things are taking a bit of more time. So in business-wise, what we've noticed, if people take each other to court, there'll be a bit of bad blood and business will not go through. Because most of the times we'll be saying, okay, let me wait until the ruling of the court. So the coming in of the arbitration center brings in a number of good advantages. Number one, you're doing things in secret. You're having a discussion where you're not going out there talking bad about others. Number two, you're doing things fast and efficient. So if you resolve issues fast, it means we've got a chance to proceed with your business. So for us in the business sector, it's an advantage, and we're really happy with this. You can even see the support that we've been getting from the companies in Malawi. Looking at the symposium last year, looking at again the launching this time around, is something that is really great, and we're happy about this. So when you look at the foreign investment, there are two things that will normally happen. Most of the foreign investors, when they're coming into the country, they'll be looking at the bigger projects. And bigger projects, ideally, there are some that you have into maybe government contracts. So the government contracts, if you're talking about the courts, already that's a bit of a red flag, because the courts are also part of the government, another arm of the government. That's why for us, we've looked at this to have a private entity, private raid. So whereby you can show a bit of, you look at the fastness and do something that is away from the government. If you look at other countries, I think this is one way of even pushing the foreign investors to be coming into the country. Because they would want, if there is an issue, you should be able to resolve fast. You can't have an issue that maybe takes 20 years. The amount of money that you have invested, you would have lost a lot of things. So it also puts Malawi at a very good limelight, where you're having the arbitration center that can handle domestic as well as foreign investors.
Treasury Foundation of Southern Africa Chief Executive Officer Andile Nikani says MIANC was beneficial to the entire Southern African region.
Good thing for Malawi. It's a good thing for the region, because there's a shift towards a speedy resolution to disputes, particularly commercial disputes. What it signals domestically and internationally is that Malawi is serious about the administration of justice, the quick resolution of disputes. For instance, we know that the courts have their shortcomings in terms of it takes longer now to resolve these important, these critical commercial disputes. And the moment you have a center like this, it says to the world that Malawi is open for business and it's ready to take commerce to the next level in terms of not just attracting foreign direct investments, but also in terms of job creation. It also signals the stability of the country in resolving these matters quickly and independently of the courts without an over burden on the court system. It says effectively that
the center, which provides alternative commercial dispute resolution mechanisms, is expected to reduce the burden on conventional courts while offering confidential, efficient and cost-effective services to the business community.
Another business news, the Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, has expressed confidence in achieving its goal of connecting 180,000 new customers under the Malawi Electricity Access Project MEAP by June this year. This follows successful procurement of 92,000 electricity meters, along with other essential materials including poles, conductors and LED bulbs to facilitate the new connections. Speaking during a media visit to the MEAP warehouse in Lunzu, Blantyre, ESCOM's Chief Operations Officer Maxwell Kumwembe said the corporation has sufficient material and is on track to meet its target. Benedetta Mia has the whole story.
Speaking on Monday, Kumwembe assured Malawians that the corporation now has sufficient materials and is on track to meet its target. He further disclosed that ESCOM has already connected 98,000 customers, leaving a balance of 82,000 more connections in order to reach the target. Kumwembe also warned the public against paying bribes to individuals falsely claiming to facilitate faster connections.
MEAP program is a government program that is being undertaken in collaboration with the World Bank. The target is that we should make 180,000 connections by 30th June this year. So far, we've already connected about 98,000. We are remaining with 82,000. So the good news that we have brought here as ESCOM on behalf of government is that we now have got the materials. We have just received 92,000 meters. So we have got meters plenty. That's why we have got this campaign that we're calling it meter mbwembwembwe. We've got plenty meters. So we have got poles, we have got conductors, we have got LED bulbs. So for now, this project is well on track. We've got meters, we've got materials. So that's why we are here. Would like to notify Malawians to come forward to benefit from these connections.
The Malawi Electricity Access Project is a World Bank financed project aimed at increasing electricity access in Malawi by increasing on-grid connection with 180,000 new customers in peri-urban and rural areas.
Well, with that story, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time, a magazine program in which we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. Thank you for watching, but always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Goodbye for now.